touched his face, turned it back toward me. Sometimes I really wish I could run away, live in the shiny New York City apartment with a smiling doorman and forget all about life on the estate. Garrett placed his hand on top of mine, cupping my palm against his cheek, nuzzling it in a way that made my pulse skip and skin flush. Sounds good. Is there room in this fantasy for me to come too? Yes. I was breathless. Could he feel my hand go clammy against his face? This wasn't romance. It was grief and guilt and rage, but my head and heart and body were reacting like it was the stuff of fairy tales. Can I kiss you? He asked. I swallowed, and swallowed the urge to correct his can to may, then cursed the voice of Nolan for running through my head at a time like this, cursed everything about Nolan. I'll be gentle. You know I'd never hurt you, right? I nodded, tugging down the hem of my dress to cover the fingerprint bruise he'd left on my thigh when he was talking about Al. But that was an accident. It shouldn't have left a mark, which meant I needed to go see Dr. Costello. His hands left the chair's cushion and settled on my neck, working their way up to my hair and tilting my head toward his. There was a rattling of a door handle, the banging on the door. Penelope, Maeve, Landlow, open the door this instant, or I'll have it broken down. We were across the solarium, obscured by a fountain. Father couldn't have seen us. We both exhaled. Mine, a sigh. His, a grim chuckle as he walked to the door. As soon as the lock was flipped, Father stormed into the room. His rage was impressive, but so was mine. I stood up, putting my hands on my hips and straightening to make use of every one of my 5 feet 3 inches. Father, I can't believe you. Me? Don't start. Don't you even start. You embarrassed me in there, and you ruined what should have been a triumphant moment for Nolan. Good, I spat. Why Nolan? Why not Garrett? Why not me? My stupid voice quavered on that last word, and Father's face softened. You said I was essential to the family. You are essential to our family, because your mother and I love you. He sat down on a cushion and patted the seat next to him. Come sit, Penny. I wanted you to fire him, not promote him, and you said you were going to teach me how to run the business. No, I said I wanted to teach you. As Nolan learns my role, I'll be able to turn some responsibilities over to him and have more time with you. I was thinking classic literature, our own father-daughter book club. I shook my head. Is this because I'm a girl? Do not imply that I am sexist. Have you heard the Wards talk about women? Or some of the other family members? Don't mistake their opinions for mine. I have no problem with the idea of a female heading up a family, but you are no Magnolia Vickers. I'm not claiming I'm ready now, but you could train me. Why not name Miles for now and then train me? Miles is older than I am. He's looking to retire soon. But he'd only be a placeholder until I'm ready. It's hardly like you're retiring anytime soon. Oh, Penelope. He dropped his chin. Sadness crept in to add lines on his face. Who knows how long I have? The family needs to know whom I've chosen as a successor. They need to know I have someone ready to take my place. Otherwise it leads to infighting, bloodshed. Nolan's got a vision for the future of the business, and I think it's a valid one. The Organ Act? Father didn't answer. He leaned over and kissed the top of my head. I want you to have a life, Sweet Pea. Leading the family is no way for you to spend it. Shouldn't that be my choice, how I spend my life, and who I spend it with? I looked for Garrett. He moved to stand by the window wall, giving us some space and the illusion of privacy, though I know he could hear every word. Maybe I couldn't lead alone, but I could with help. You wanted me to code-name you with Nolan? Father laughed. Just yesterday you were begging to get away from him. Not Nolan. I paused and held out a hand in invitation, but Garrett must not have seen it, because he didn't move. Father, I could marry Garrett. You could name him your successor, and he and I could lead together. Marry? Garrett? The word was summons, and did what my hand had not. Drew him away from the wall to come stand before my father. Is there something I need to know about you and my daughter? Garrett shook his head empathetically. No, sir. And I choked on the breath that I'd been holding. Good. Keep it that way. The fire went out of Father's eyes, moving to heat my cheeks with humiliation. Penny, you're still such a child, dreaming of marriage and unicorns and rainbows. It's not a job you could handle. It's dangerous. With your delicacy, you'd be a liability. I swallowed past the sting of his words. I see. Sweet pea, life is not one of your storybooks. I've already lost one child to this business. After what happened to Carter, how can you expect me to allow you anywhere near it? You're all I have left. He looked down, swallowed twice, then looked back up with flint in his eyes. This discussion is over. I expect you to congratulate Nolan the next time you see him, and when he does succeed me, you will offer him your loyalty and obedience. Understand? My cheeks burned with anger and embarrassment, but I had seen the pain flash through his eyes when he mentioned Carter. Yes, Father. Now, about the clinic. I've already questioned and dealt with Mick. Can you think of anything he might have left out? I raised my chin and tried not to feel guilty about Mick being punished. I have a right to know my own counts. Were you aware Penny broke into the clinic on your watch? Father asked Garrett. I had to turn away from the betrayal in his eyes, the shame in his voice when he answered, No, sir. I see. The look on Father's face made it clear that the discussion was far from over. Bring Penny to her room, then join me and the others in the library and raise a glass to Nolan. Of course, sir. I stared at Garrett, but his eyes were fixed on my father's retreating back. I knew the moment Garrett judged him to be out of earshot, because his shoulders relaxed ever so slightly. Ballroom etiquette, huh? He asked in a voice full of false humor. I should have guessed you were up to something. Your taste in movies is normally less torturous, except for Enchanted. I know, it's New York and fairy tales, pretty much custom-made for you, but the chipmunk? I'm sorry, I whispered. I get it. He dropped the fake grin. I'm not happy you left me behind. Don't ever do that again. But I get it. Why did you... With Father, you implied we weren't... I shrugged, muted by hurt and confusion. What could I accuse him of? Denying there was anything between us? Was there? The first rule of being a ward is not to take sides when the landlords are infighting, quoted Garrett. When he saw my stormy face, he smiled gently. It wasn't the right time. He's all wound up by Nolan, and he's still mourning Carter. But he'd reassign me. I'd never see you again without a room full of chaperones. He still might because of the clinic thing. No, he can't. Except we both know he could. Remember when we were little and playing Go Fish, and you always wanted to show me your whole hand? I nodded. Now's the time for us to keep our cards tipped up. You know, Malcolm Landlow as a father, but I know him as a businessman. Garrett held out his hand. Trust me. I slowly placed mine inside and watched his fingers fold gently over, swallowing it up. My hand in his. It was my daydreams made reality. Father may control most things, but he didn't command them all.